Welcome back to SF Live, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are back in the studio here in Vancouver. Super excited to be back here. Feels like my second home. I need to be back out here more often because when I'm here, I usually have fantastic guests, and I'm joined by one of these fantastic guests. Now, it is the Vancouver Resource Conference is happening in Vancouver right now, and I'm joined by the Economic Ninja.
Hey guys, how you doing? I thought for a second you were gonna say I normally have really cool guests except for today. So
well, you invited a ninja on board,
I did my stretching earlier, so we're ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely, all warmed up and got that going. Fantastic. No, Thanks for coming in.
This is incredible. Like we were talking pre starting all the cameras. Like I'm like, this is super fancy. I don't know what to do with my hands. It's just like, it's awesome.
Just start not to hit the keyboard and stop the recording. Right? Could happen.
Yeah, it totally could.
No, Ninja. Again, thanks so much for coming out.
Yeah.
Vancouver Resource Conference.
Yes.
I do have to ask. Like, I don't really have you in the resource corner, right?
No.
For me, you're a generalist. You comment on the market.
Yep.
Upcoming crash. A bit of doom and gloom, I have to admit.
But I'm the doomiest, baby. I try and bring a little ray of sunshine, though, on that. But it's true. If you just read the news, it is doom and gloom. The facts are doom and gloom right now because you're at the top of a cycle.
It's depressing. It is depressing. I was talking with Andy Shackman, and one comment he made, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe when I was younger, I didn't realize it. But we used to have macro events, bigger ones, every 2, 3, maybe 5 a year.
Yeah.
Right? Now it feels like maybe due to social media that those macro events happen on a daily basis.
You're right. Yeah.
Being at the Bank of Japan raising interest rates or doing something that the market doesn't expect.
Yeah.
But that's being elevated and it's sort of hyped.
Yeah, it's magnified and it's all over, and information is moving so much faster. It's crazy. But what's really neat about that, again, let's throw a ray of sunshine on it. It makes it that much easier to identify where you are in the cycle, so you don't go out and spend money on things you don't, can't afford, and then get yourself caught in a trap before all of a sudden the bottom falls out.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Real estate is slowing down and all those things, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to real estate. We're jumping around a bit. I want to stay on the Vancouver Resource Conference for a minute because, as I said, I don't have you in the resource corner. So let's ask the question. What brings you on?
I was invited. I gotta be honest with you. I've been investing in the resource sector since 2002, 2003. I just started social media a couple years ago because it was my third cycle that I was getting ready for. Prior to 2018, 2019, I could see the writing on the walls with the interbank lending rate spiking, doing all that stuff. And at a certain point, my wife actually kicked me into YouTube and said, you need a bigger audience because your family and friends do not want to hear you anymore. And so resource was natural because I'm a gold and silver bug. And so I know the leverage that is involved with gold and silver versus mining shares. And then, the whole world of, finding the next play, getting into financing side, the private placements, those kind of things. Totally, it get me pumped. I was an accredited investor when I was 26 and did that through real estate and then transferred into oil and gas funds and didn't really get to use that skill set until we got back into resources. Now, I'm in and I'm excited because I was a crypto guy. I said, what's about to happen? The resource side is going to be total. It's going to be like crypto on cocaine.
Oh, steroids. I prefer steroids.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just,
I wouldn't even say,
sorry. Oh, wow, this just went off the rails.
Coffee. I don't know. We might have to sort of, for the YouTube algorithm, got to be careful what we say.
Oh, that's a good point.
So
that's a good point. Okay, we'll cut that out. We'll cut that out.
We'll beep it.
Zero language, but no descriptives. Okay, coffee.
Exactly. Coffee is the only drug I consume. So,
okay, gotcha.
Which is fair enough.
Now, I do say that word on my channel, that term, all the time. So just, my views are still doing pretty good.
It still works? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
YouTube's that's totally good.
Because you got to rate when you monetize it. You got to rate the language and the level of inappropriateness in a video.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I've always said everything's great.
I don't know. Apparently, my rating is quite accurate, so they accept just what I put there. So.
Oh yeah, I guess I don't know what they're thinking of me.
Nah, it's fun. Do you have an objective here at the conference? Are you seeking out new investment ideas? Is there, or is that just at the bottom of the list right now?
It's at the bottom of the list because you come to a resource place and everybody's telling you they have the biggest, best resource in the world. So you've got to really weed those out. As a matter of fact, I've got a rule that I don't make any investments or sign any contracts while I'm in town. I've got to take it home and do my due diligence, but also I have mentors that have been around a lot longer than me and are way more successful. So I take it in front of them as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, you said you're a gold silver bug?
Yes.
Interesting. Explain how you interpret that role a little bit.
Yeah, so I started stacking silver, physical silver, and some gold back in 2010. I wish I would have known about it before. It was a funny story in 1998 when I was married. Got married. My wife handed me a little thing of silver dimes and some quarters. I go, what's this? And I had owned a baseball card shop growing up. I all about collectibles. I knew how to make money. Had little side businesses all the time growing up. And she goes, well, these are silver coins. I'm like, well, no, duh, they're silver. But I didn't think silver, like I'm thinking the color. She goes, well, they're worth something. So I just put them in our safe. It was just, a handful. I never would have thought back then I could have literally went down to the bank and just picked up, rolls of coins and went through them and taken more valuable coins out. And I got angry. And one day in 2010, I literally was upset with my wife and my dad for not teaching me about that. And they said, what would you have done? And I brought them out to the garage and I had a little trash can full of copper pennies. And I said, I would have done that, but we would have been worth millions. And they are just drop-jawed. And so that's how I started. I started understanding the fundamental value of things that were stolen from us so long ago through banking systems, through debt and things like that, and watching these things go up in value or go down, based on monetary policy. Now I'm getting ready for something that's going to be an explosion. I mean, shoot, where the gold price is right now, looking at what's coming forward with the East and West splitting off, holy cow. I'm excited.
Absolutely, you have to be.
Yeah.
But I've been excited for gold for the last 10 years personally. You brought up 2010. Like I got Soar sort of started in 2011, where I really dived deep into the resource space, looking at gold and silver primarily. Like the case has always been there. Yeah. Like it's just got, I don't know, hyped, like even more added to it.
Totally.
Right? Like we've all seen the money printing going on. It's like, well, that can't go on forever. Well, It's been 10 years now, or 11.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay. Like,
well, what is it? The old saying, the market can stay, irrational longer than you can stay solvent. Yeah. And it's so true. But the thing is that you look at what's going on now, and every day we go by and nothing's happened, we're that day closer. But the thing is, I've been teaching people not to put all their eggs in one basket. That's why you have stocks. That's why you have, precious metals like physical. That's why you own some real estate. That's why you have some crypto. It's have a well diversified basket, because as one cycle takes off and it explodes, then you take your profits and you put it into another basket. And that's how I've been able to grow wealth in the last.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, what's your mix, sort of like physical mining stocks? Like,
the mining stocks are so much more now. Yeah, it was
just leverage and alpha is just insane there, right?
Yeah, same thing with crypto. I started out really equal. Crypto exploded. Then I took some of those profits and I put them into stocks. Then it just literally, like, as one explodes, it's exponential growth, because then you're taking the profits and you're putting into something else, a basket of fundamentals that you truly believe in, but they're either beat down or they just haven't done anything yet. Then you're taking all of that energy, that money, that profits, and you're buying low, and then that thing takes off, and you're like, well, what's going on now? And I've even went back to crypto at some point and bought more, and so yeah, it's so thrown out of whack right now, and I can't, like, literally, I was telling you before, some of the stocks I've owned in the resource space in September up between 40 and 400%. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Leverage is insane in those stocks. We all know it. If you have the patience, you can be successful in stocks.
Especially when you see spinoffs and the new starts. That's the really exciting ones for me.
Well, even the GDX or GDXJ, the index funds are 40-45%.
That's true.
Like, you can't even, like, you have to be a complete fool to miss on that. Like,
yeah.
And I don't even own them, so maybe I am.
I don't either.
Right?
I like single picks.
Same here.
Yeah.
Right? So really, really interesting approach there. Yeah. Vancouver Resource Conference. I'm trying to sort of, you're on a panel.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to
figure out what to say.
No, it's same. No, but talking about, like you said, things are coming to an end.
Yeah.
Right? And we were on a panel together in New Orleans, and you mentioned CBDCs will be introduced this year.
Yeah.
July, I think was.
Yep, July. It's fednow.gov was where they announced that. And yeah, I've been getting ready. I read a white paper out of Yale back in 2017 about the CBDC use case, got to see some of the code. The inflation portion, ironically, is blurred out. You can't actually talk about that or see it. So, but yeah, it is coming, and cash is going to be gone, and it's a worldwide event. Banks around the world are getting ready for this. Governments around the world. And there's a lot of really bad things that are attached to that too. So my thing is let's get people out of debt. Let's get them ready for it. And I would love, because there's a customer acquisition cost with this, right? You got to be able to give your people enough money to where they sort of buy off on this. Hey, we're taking some freedoms away. And so I want people to take that money and buy real things of value. Either get out of debt with it, or if they're already out of debt, buy real estate, buy gold, things like that. Things that are generational wealth builders.
Like, define the CBDC for us. Like, how do you see it? Like, and how do you think it will be used?
Yeah. So, we all know that most banking transactions around the world are digital, right? It's ones and zeros on a computer. The CBDC is a little different. I'll go really generic with terms. It's not a decentralized blockchain, but it is a system that uses blockchain technology to keep track of it. It's not central. It's not decentralized in the fact that you and I are going to be able to run code on our computer and get paid through microtransactions like you see with a Bitcoin or Digibyte or any of those other cryptocurrencies. But what's going to happen is it's going to have a lot more control over it. It'll literally be the first time the Federal Reserve will be able to inject money directly in your account. It's on your cell phone and they can also take it out. So that's very, very sketchy.
That takeout part has me scared, to be honest.
Well, it's just like a bank bail-in.
But how is that different now? Like in 2020, they send money to everybody as well.
Yeah.
Like, where's the difference?
So this is where I believe it's going to happen during a time of crisis, and they're going to do it before a crisis. They'll just start using it, right? There's already bank transfers going on with that CBDC. They'll say and it's just like when they gave everyone money. It's your duty to spend this money because you're going to help the economy. You're going to spur the economy. We saw things that were similar in 2008 programs, right? This is going to be on a much grander scale. And they're going to say, if you do not spend this in X amount of days, we're going to literally take it from you and give it to someone that will. And it will be like a dopamine explosion in your brain because people will be forced to spend money. And I've read theories about this and how they can use that to really get people excited about it, because you would need to force a new user to do something like that to get them to understand, oh, whoa, this worked. Like, it was on my phone. It just instantly showed up. And it's literally as easy as a national address where, let's say the Federal Reserve Chairman comes out and goes, hey, due to what's going on, all you have to do is get on your cell phone right now, go to your app store, download the Fed website, the app, and put in some information about yourself, and instantaneously, let's say 10 grand shows up, and you have a certain amount of days to spend it. And that will, think about how hooked people will get and how easy it would be. And that's what's scary. So, and my thing is I'm a cycles guy. Gold is never to be held all the time. To me, people are going to be able to get generational wealth into the real estate market, but I believe it's through gold and silver going up in price through an inflationary crash. And then you want to sell that. There are people that have always held on, and they've held those cycles. Like the people that held on through 2010, 2011, only see it top around 2 grand and then come smashing down into the low thousands. And it's sad because if you would have taken that money at the top, bought real estate, then you would have ridden real estate up, taken that, now put it back into gold, and think about how much more magnified that wealth would be.
Absolutely. Thinking about that, remember, I'm kicking myself a little bit for a missed opportunity back in, I think it was 2010, Las Vegas real estate market. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Even a buddy of mine reached out, I was like, hey, we should buy a house together in Vegas. But I personally wasn't in a position to consider it. Like, I was still at the start of my career, more or less.
Yep.
Right? So,
well, think about
houses
that,
for $200,000, like massive, like I would say mansions, but decent-sized homes.
Yep.
For $250,000.
Well, look at what Vanilla Ice had, that TV show flipping mansions in Florida that were abandoned, and people don't remember that kind of stuff. And what's scary to me is you're watching Las Vegas real estate literally explode in houses hitting the market. Sales have completely stopped, and this time is going to be so much worse than 2008. So what you need to do is take that oh man, I'm bummed feeling and turn that into drive to go, I'm not going to make that mistake. It's going to be awesome.
We're going to cut the real estate discussion here. We're going to do that in a second interview.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I get super excited with real estate.
I have a couple good points, like finfluencers, a lot of finfluencers. Graham Stephan, as well. Everybody's like, buy real estate. He's in Vegas as well. I want to get to that.
The HODL boys, yeah.
What happens when shit really hits the fan?
I can't wait to talk about that.
Okay,
cool.
so we'll talk about it in a second video later, right?
But don't leave. We're still talking about stuff. What do you want to talk about?
We're talking about it's like I want to talk about like CBDCs, needed trigger.
Okay. Yep.
And how do you see this all playing out? Like I like making fun of Jim Lewis, Wall Street Silver, a little bit because he always wears "and the Fed hat."
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question is like, okay, being a pragmatic, what does that mean? And what is next?
Yeah, it's crazy. People get excited about ending the Fed, but they've been kicked out twice out of this country, and we've seen presidents in the past try and get rid of them too, and we see what happens. And I don't see that going away. And so So what's your question? Like, what's the end game? Because I don't think there's ever an end game. There's never an end to the dollar.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
So you have the US dollar.
Yeah.
So either US dollar completely goes away, but we just talked about CBDCs, so it's just a different name for the US dollar.
It's just a different version of the dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we've had 3 versions of the dollar in the last 100 years. All they've done is they change a little bit of the color, they change some wording, but attached with that is a different set of inflation dynamics, right? The first one, the 30s, when they revalued gold, you know what's funny? Everyone had gold back then, right? Coins just had gold in them, but nobody really cared except for the people that turned it in. And then all of a sudden it revalued and they'll go, oh, great, thanks a lot. It's like Bitcoin today. Nobody cares that Bitcoin went from, I bought my first one at 500. Nobody cares that it's whatever it is, $24,000 right now, if they didn't own it. If they own it, they care. Nobody cares about gold being at 1,900 right now if they don't own it. And that's what's interesting to me, because everyone seems to think there's going to be an end to the dollar. No, there's not. It's going to be a different version of the dollar. Everyone thinks that we're going to go to a barter. Silver and gold is going to be used for transaction. No, it's not. We don't have enough physical silver and gold. That should cause people to run out right now and go buy some. That's another thing too that interests me a lot. There's people in this space buying silver equities, and they don't own any physical silver. And I go, how could you not? And they're like, well, the magnification. I'm like, yeah, until all of a sudden your stocks are gone from your account. I mean, we've seen that before with Robinhood. Like, oh, no, you can't sell anything right now. Oh no, yeah, you can't buy anything. Like, whoa. Yeah, and that's really scary to me. Yeah, you could have $1 million in the bank or in your brokerage account, but if you can't access it, and then all of a sudden it goes down in value the next day, so where are you at? So that's why I think you need to have a blend of both.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You can't have just stocks. Like,
totally.
As you said, everybody says you can't just own funds, or you should own some individual, real hard assets. Like, totally. It doesn't matter if it's real estate, gold, silver.
Well, not only that, you're doing your part for the community. The more metal that's taken out of the ground and taken out of bank vaults, and it's in someone else's home or hidden somewhere, that makes it scarce. So there's a lot of people rolling for these, what's it called, the big gains in these stocks. But it's like, why don't you do your part? And that's what I get excited about Wall Street Silver, the movement on Reddit and Twitter. I like that because it's a bunch of people coming together, sharing knowledge and information, and doing something. Like, literally, we did the silver in my stocking thing. It's like, just take 1 ounce, give it to a child, and that thing's going to be in his drawer, her drawer, for the next 20 years probably.
Well, I own some coins of from day one, pretty much.
Yeah, see, and that's how I am too.
No, interesting question popped to mind. You mentioned, everybody gets $10,000 as a marketing bonus.
Yeah.
For the new CBDC, right? Same thing we saw 2020, March 2020. Everybody got, I don't know, it was $1,200, something like that, $2,000. I can't remember what the exact number was. But how would you position yourself now? Are you increasing exposure to cryptos? And are you buying NFTs again?
That's at this level? So I've never bought an NFT. I think they're like the NFTs are good. They're great.
My point is, it's a
but
craze.
Not for pictures of monkeys, like
a good old Bored Ape.
Oh my gosh! But hey, you got Beanie Babies. Like, people don't realize these stupid fads go through the functionality of an NFT. Perfect. I love it for tracking food, for tracking art, things like that. Awesome. Not a Bored Ape. But yeah, that's an impossible question to ask. And the reason why is because we don't know where other asset classes are going to be when gold gets higher or silver goes higher. So that's a continuous evaluation process. And the one thing that's really going to affect that is the Fed policy right now. And or in the future. And people don't realize the Fed always, as they roll through a raising cycle, it always happens about 7 years. And they don't just go from raising to, everything's crashing. We stop and we drop, right? The nearest they came to that was 1 month or 6 weeks of holding their Fed funds rate around 2.25. That was in 2018 because the president of the United States is literally out there going, the Fed is trying to bankrupt you and the country right now. That's never happened next to Kennedy, right? So they did an about face, but they always, when it goes up, they start to hurt. We broke the economy. We broke the consumer. We're going to hold that now, and we're going to squeeze, and we're going to pretend you didn't know it did. Come on. This is super easy stuff. And so we're about to enter that. They're going to do what? 2 more 25 basis point heights? Yeah.
And get something coming up.
And they're going to hold.
Next week, actually.
Yep. Yeah. So it's probably be 25, and then we'll do 1 more 25, and then they're going to hold it. And that pain, if the 10-year bond doesn't go any higher from Japan starting to sell off treasuries, it's still going to cause massive pain in the real estate market. And the wealth effect is about to leave most consumers' minds. And that that gets exciting. Like, see, we're going back into real estate in my mind, but it always leads into that next cycle.
Yeah, no, absolutely it does. And the question comes to mind is like, in mining, like we always had competition.
Yeah.
Right? Like in the last few years, either it was the cannabis craze that took away from junior mining in particular, because the risk money sort of left the sector.
Yep.
Right? Right now, it feels like we don't have any competition. Bitcoin sort of crumbled, lost a bit of, like, there were some trust issues now.
Yep.
Right? NFTs, we talked about, sort of disappeared a bit again. A lot of value destruction. Cannabis, dead.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Got the established players.
Totally.
So if mining stocks want to run, do you see any objection? Like any hurdles, anything we need to overcome?
Well, one thing people need to overcome is to realize, so you and I lived through the last boom in the mining sector, right? We had a big boom in the mid 2000s, like what, 2005, 2006, around there, when stocks were taking off, gold stocks, silver stocks. Then we had it in 2010, 2011. What I think it's really important is to find out the company you want to invest in, where was that team back then? What were they doing? What kind of projects are they getting into? What kind of acquisitions were they making at the bottom? Were they good planners? Or were these shysters? I mean, that's something that's really important. People need to know. It's super easy to spin up a resource company, especially using shells. It's like, look at where that team was. What's their track record? Have they been a part of a discovery before? Do they have multiple wins under their belt? What's the geology team like? That is super important. And that's what I'm afraid of in this next run, because like cryptos, you could literally buy anything and make money. But the hardest thing for not an investor, but a speculator, because they're gamblers, is knowing when to sell. And so what happens is everything's rolling up like crypto. And then the day it goes, it starts going and you just start going, oh crap, we're having a bad day. Well, it's okay, I'll hold again. I've seen these days. Then it's another bad day and another bad day. And before you know it, your portfolio is well below what you've invested. And now you can't sell because you're scared. Or you do because you're scared. And now you're like, crap, I'm going to try and double it again. And then that goes down. And so that's something that concerns me, because this cycle, when gold and silver roll, it is going to be awesome in the mining sector. I mean, but how do you lead people the right way? And so with me, I'm trying to say, when you can get a win, you take your win, pull your profits, diversify your portfolio.
Nobody's gone poor taking profits.
Never. Yeah. But your mind always messes with you. It's like, oh, I could have made this.
This time's going to be different.
Win Lambo. You're like, win Pinto. That's, you're just like, let's keep the cars a little smaller.
The Pintos. Yeah, exactly. Turn into Lambo.
I've got a herd of Pintos.
Hilarious. I can just see the party, like a garage full of Pintos.
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing well this year.
We got that one gremlin in the background, but yeah.
The off pink one in there.
Oh, that's well, whatever you want to drive.
Exactly. No, fantastic. Travis, Ninja, thank you so much for coming on. Fantastic conversation.
Thank you.
We'll see each other obviously down at the conference floor.
Yeah.
And I'm going to quiz you a bit more on what you're looking at there and follow you around maybe for a second.
No, you'll probably run into the bathroom because I'm just, or the wall, because I'm just looking up going, what am I doing? This is a dream of mine. I don't want to.
It's great fun,
dude. And hopefully, when we're on the stage, it's not like in New Orleans where we couldn't hear anything and all that echo. Oh my gosh! I thought it was my hearing going.
It was weird. There's voices in my head.
Well, as long as they're giving you stock picks that are winning, who cares?
Exactly. Exactly. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Everybody else, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. SF Live. We're back in the studio in Vancouver. We were joined by the fantastic Economic Ninja. Exactly. Follow him on Twitter and YouTube, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
More YouTube than Twitter.
Shameless plug. Follow me.
Absolutely. Follow him. You have to. And thank you so much for tuning in. We got lots more great content coming out. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, obviously. Yes. And because I know 85 to 90% of you are not subscribed that are watching. Let's change that. Thank you so much for that. Leave a comment. Leave a like. What do you think is going to happen in the next few months? Are you positioned in mining stocks? Let us know below. Thank you so much.